Okay, let's dive into this. Welcome to today's Explainer, where we're going to unpack one of the absolute most misunderstood functions in human biology. We're looking at the surprising dual nature of inflammation, how it acts as your body's ultimate protector, but also, under the wrong circumstances, its most silent threat. If you read health articles or follow wellness trends, you've probably internalized a really common modern myth that inflammation is always the bad guy. We associate it with swelling, redness, pain, and disease, so naturally we think we need to fight it at all costs. But is it really the enemy? Well, as we'll see today, that perspective is missing a massive piece of the puzzle. The stark biological truth is this. Your body absolutely needs inflammation. It's literally one of your most important defense and repair systems. Without this crucial mechanism, survival would be frankly impossible. If your body couldn't trigger inflammation, even a minor, everyday scratch or a routine bug bite could quickly escalate and become life-threatening. It's not inherently harmful. It's a vital guard. Let's start by looking at part 1, the healing response. Meet the true hero of our story, acute inflammation. This is the short-term, highly targeted healing response. It evolves as a critical survival mechanism to rapidly mobilize your body's resources, contain damage, and kickstart healing whenever you face a threat. And this brilliantly illustrates exactly how that short-term response works using something we've all annoyingly experienced, a simple paper cut. Within minutes of that cut, a highly coordinated sequence begins. First, you get redness, right? That's just blood vessels dilating to increase blood flow. Then swelling, as fluid and immune cells rush into the tissue. Heat follows, raising the local temperature to boost cellular activity. And finally, pain, which is really just your nerve endings signaling damage, warning you to protect the area. It feels unpleasant for sure, but immune cells are actively removing damaged tissue and defending against infection. And once the work is done, the alarm shuts off, and it completely subsides. But here is where our story takes a tragic twist, and the hero becomes the villain. Think of inflammation like a fire alarm. Acute inflammation, over on the left, sounds during a real emergency, like that paper cut, and shuts off once the danger has passed. But chronic inflammation, on the right, is the broken alarm. The system totally forgets to turn off. It just rings indefinitely. And instead of saving the building, the constant low-grade immune activation actually starts causing damage to the structure itself. So what causes that alarm to break? It's often tied to subtle, everyday lifestyle factors that keep this low-grade immune response constantly running beneath the surface. We're talking about things like excess body fat, especially visceral fat around your organs, along with smoking, tossing and turning with poor sleep, chronic psychological stress, and physical inactivity. Add in diets heavy in ultra-processed foods or underlying issues like autoimmune disorders and chronic infections, and you've got an environment where the inflammatory alarm just won't silence. Which brings us to part 2. What happens inside the body? So what's actually going on inside your body when that alarm is blaring for months or even years? How exactly does this broken alarm cause internal wear and tear? Well, it all starts with communication. Your immune cells talk to each other using chemical messengers called cytokines. During a normal acute response, cytokines act like calm 911 dispatchers, coordinating a targeted cleanup. But in chronic inflammation, these messengers essentially panic. They remain elevated, constantly sending out signals that encourage an inflammatory response, even when there is no actual immediate threat to fight. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the biological tug-of-war it shows, which we call oxidative stress. Because the immune system is always revved up, it produces an excess of reactive oxygen species, or free radicals. When these outnumber your body's natural antioxidant defenses, they just start running rampant. This oxidative stress literally damages your DNA, your proteins, and your cell membranes. It's a massive driver of accelerated cellular aging. The ultimate result is what we can call the cellular fallout. You have persistent immune cell activation leading to ongoing tissue injury. Because the system is trying to endlessly repair tissue that doesn't actually need repairing, it leads to tissue remodeling and fibrosis, which is just a fancy word for scarring. Your overzealous immune cleanup crew literally ends up scarring and impairing the function of the very organs they were originally designed to protect, like your liver, heart, lungs, and kidneys. Wild, right? Let's look at part 3, the silent driver of disease. Because this cellular fallout builds up so quietly over time, researchers now recognize this chronic inflammatory state as a major underlying contributor to some of the absolute heaviest hitters in modern medicine. For instance, fat cells actually release inflammatory molecules, driving obesity and metabolic dysfunction. It actively interferes with insulin signaling in type 2 diabetes. It contributes directly to plaque instability and cardiovascular disease. It drives fat accumulation in non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. It attacks joints in arthritis. And researchers are even seeing evidence that persistent inflammatory processes in the brain play a role in neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's. It's everywhere. Which raises a really crucial question. If chronic inflammation is driving all of this, can we measure it? Because remember, unlike a sprained ankle, chronic inflammation often has absolutely no obvious outward symptoms. You don't get a fever, and your ankle doesn't swell up. So how do we spot an enemy that operates entirely under the radar? Well, while we can't always feel it, clinicians can flag it using specific laboratory markers. They look for things like high-sensitivity C-reactive protein, or hs-CRP, and erythrocyte sedimentation rate, or ESR. So the crucial point is that these tests do not diagnose a specific disease on their own. Instead, they act kind of like smoke detectors, helping clinicians evaluate whether hidden inflammatory activity is present in your blood, so they know if further investigation is warranted.
All right, part 4, restoring your body's balance.
Thankfully, while a broken internal alarm is dangerous, we are far from helpless. We have incredible, scientifically backed tools to fix it. We can take control and shift our body's environment back to a state of balance. By maintaining a healthy body weight, we reduce the inflammatory molecules released by fat cells. By eating a diet rich in minimally processed plant foods, engaging in regular physical activity, managing psychological stress, prioritizing sleep, and avoiding smoking, we actively calm that alarm down. These daily choices literally change the chemical messaging in your body, taming the villain of chronic inflammation back into the helpful temporary sidekick it was always meant to be. This brings us to a quote from the source material that brilliantly summarizes our entire biological hero-to-villain arc. The goal is not to eliminate inflammation, but to help it do its job and then step aside when the work is done. That is the perfect balance. We want our vital guard ready for emergencies, but we definitely don't want it destroying the building. We've seen how incredible and sophisticated your biology truly is today. Your body already knows exactly how to heal itself. It just needs the right environment to do so without getting stuck in overdrive. So I'll leave you with this final thought to consider as you go about your day. Your body knows how to heal. Through your daily lifestyle choices, will you let it?